Hey, welcome back. It is April 8th, 2026, and it is a beautiful day. Not a single cloud except for the ones back there, I guess. But look at this blue sky. It is like just insane today. Weather's pretty good. It's a little chilly, so probably won't be out here for too long, but it's feeling nice to be out here again in the PNW. We have a nice channel going through here and soaking in the vibes. I don't fully have a topic today unless one comes to mind. I would say I want to talk about, or we should talk about, um, the idea of like reinvention or like rebirth, I guess, would be also a term we could use. When something is one state and it turns into another. I hope I'm still in frame. I just went over to pick up this piece of wood. This piece of wood came from a tree. Could have been a tree from around here. It could have been a tree from like California or even like Europe or Asia or something. But that tree turned into that piece of wood. And that is a moment of change for that. And I guess for the tree, it'd be for the worst because the tree dies. But then something new comes from it. And that new thing could be this wooden railway, or not railway, but like guardrail. That's very old, by the way. I may have tried sitting on it for like half a second and realized, nope, that's not going to hold me. Um, but either way, it turned from one thing into another. And yesterday I talked about sleep in I think the video is called It's All About Your Attitude. And the way that perceptions and actions can have the ability to also change your mindset. Or no, it'd be the other way around. Your mindset has the ability to change your perceptions and actions, excuse me. Um, and that coming into the state of rebirth or reinvention. Rebirth or reinvention would come through, let's say, you ever meet someone that's had like a come to Jesus moment or a come to God moment? There's a lot of those out there. I've had my fair share. And it's so interesting to me how that can change someone's like entire mental state. What feels like overnight for like the people that have that like crazy transformation. And I was wondering what causes that. And some people will say like, well, you just answered it in your own statement. You said it's come to Jesus and come to God moment. But what about the people that aren't like in that? What about the people that say enough is too much, I'm going to break the habit and move on with something else? What causes that? Would that be sitting in so much, or like sitting or wallowing in so much like pain or sorrow or like shame or guilt that causes a switch in like the mind of the person? Is it like, I think I've heard is the opposite of hate isn't love, it's change, because you hate the circumstance or the thing so much that you want to get rid of it or turn it into something else. And I think that's such a very interesting way of looking at it, because oftentimes we just try to power through it or see with a positive attitude about something, but then nothing happens. It's like a constant drainage of mental strength to be able to do that by keeping the status quo the same, but just trying to put on like a coping mechanism or a facade about why something is the way it is. So the opposite of hate being change allows that change to happen through like I hate my circumstances so much. I'm not just tolerating them anymore. I'm ready to get on with it and try out something new. Whether that be I hate my current college so much that I transfer to another college that has a better opportunity for me, or whether that be I hate living with my parents so much, so I want to save money so I can buy my own place. That's a lot of young people's story for all of time. Um, I mean, they don't hate their parents, but like hate living with them sometimes. But it's that state of change that I wanted to, I guess, verbally break down for my own mind and just for bringing the topic to discussion because I think it's just so fascinating. That change comes from within. It's like saying you can't take a horse or a camel to water and make it drink. You can't like set up somebody to have the best outcome and expect that to fully happen. It doesn't work like that. Like let's say you're with like a loved one, whether that be a family member or a spouse or like a friend, but the relationship, let's say they buy you something cool and then expect something back from you in terms of like reciprocation emotionally. But like, I mean, obviously you were probably going to give it to them if the relationship is good. But like, if they like weren't happy with the way you did it, or like said like I thought you would blah, 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 like, I mean, obviously communication is good, but like if you're expecting someone to act a certain way and they don't and you get upset, that is not on them, that is on you. And if you do that to yourself and you beat yourself up a lot, then that's also not healthy, because if you were to imagine your mind as an external entity like the talker or whatever, if you have a talking mind, some people don't actually, and that's very interesting, and that's a whole video topic on its own. um, but if you were to have like the thoughts be a different person and they were talking to you, how would that make you feel? Would that inspire you to be someone better? Are they giving you inspiring words or hopeful rhetoric, or are they basically abusing you verbally and emotionally? I'm wondering if that's where the state of change comes from for a lot of people, is that pressure test from that becomes so much to bear that they not crack, but they're like, F it, I'm gonna tear it down now and build up something else. But in that, the the core issue we talked about might not be gone. So when someone tries to reinvent themselves through like self-improvement or something like that, but they still haven't experienced that like inner peace or inner joy of like pure contentment, they will never be happy because they don't have the core of it. It's like the Iron Man suit, for example. You can have all of the working parts, like the moving helmet and the blasters from the hands, but if you don't have like that like heart, like I don't know what it's called, but like the core in the suit, nothing will be powered. Nothing will work properly. And yeah, you could probably like move it externally with like your own body, like, oh, I'm gonna lift up the leg of the suit. But like I can lift up the leg of the suit and walk all the way to point A to point B. But that's so much harder than just having the core to begin with and being able to sprint or even fly to it, you know? So that like reinvention or rebirth phase, I think people overlook the core of it, which is it has to come from the heart and it has to be truly from the heart. Because if it's not, it won't work. And I think that's just a reminder that we all need because we have so much like expectations for ourselves, it seems like, where we want something so bad and then we try to get it and then something didn't go the way we planned, like the reciprocal friend analogy, and then we beat ourselves up over it like an abusive person would someone else. And I don't think that that's the way we should go about it. If you come from a place of like negative energy, then what you build from that will be built from negative energy. And sometimes that can definitely get people places. I'm not saying it can't, definitely not. It definitely can in places like business and careers. Um, but when it comes to your like actual personal fulfillment and like you go like I hate myself so much that I'm gonna like change it, some things can work from that. You can get good results and that good results can then turn into a positive outlook. Let's say like you hate being overweight, for example, and you want to go to the gym to change that. Then you I'm trying to link it to the opposite of hate is change, impromptu style. Like you want to change it. The opposite of hate is change. And that is turning from one thing to another. I know I just said a whole lot of nothing there, but what I'm saying is loathing is bad. Loathing is only Loathing can only be a positive if you can actually get something from it. But if you wallow away thinking you should have done something different and then do nothing, then you don't actually wish you did something different. And the timeline for that change could be a long time from now. There's not everything you can fix like that. But if you never get around to it, then you're actually what I feel like is more comfortable with the current state and the status quo there is now rather than the good stuff that could come from that or the unknown. And that is what keeps a lot of people stagnant, in my opinion, is they're too afraid to experiment. I'm experimenting with this right now, and this is a bit out of my comfort zone. But I wanted to do this because I tried short form content and stuff like that. I might start editing or revising into that again, but I didn't enjoy it because it felt like I was contributing to an existing problem of scrolling. And I didn't really want to contribute to that, to be honest. I find long form YouTube to be very awesome. I'm not editing anything here. I'm not speaking in a way that grabs your attention. I'm not cutting my pauses. I'm keeping them in on purpose. And I think that that's totally a healthy content outlet is being able to talk like this without anything fancy besides Washington supplying me with beautiful background and beautiful scenery. But I guess the core of what I'm saying is if you don't have the foundations for change, then the change will never last. And in that, if you if you change it from a negative place, like if you're loathing and wallowing in a certain thing, and then you change it, and then you fall back on your old ways again because you didn't have that like core foundation of like love in there, then don't be surprised when that happens because it's kind of bound to happen because at some point you can't ignore whatever the core issue is. it will find a way for itself to resurface without your consent. And it will only become louder if you don't address it. So, if you plan on making any sort of actionable change in your life, make sure you're not coming from a lens of self hate or using that as fuel. I think it can be useful to disown bad habits and bad character traits and hate that part of you, but that isn't you. You're someone else. When you say I am, it's completely different. All right. I think I'm going to call it here. I had this place about all to myself, and it's like Wednesday at like 10:30, but a lot of people are coming in now, and it's not like I'm like nervous or anything. It's just like I'd rather just keep the peace here. And I felt like if I keep talking, then I'll kind of just be yapping at this point. Um, so yeah, it's a beautiful day today. Song of the day is Concord by Black Country New Road. And if you made it this far, I would give it a like so this reaches more people if you found value in it. And subscribe as well. With the bell, I gotta say that. Just started this a few days ago, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So, yeah, I will be uploading this later today. You're watching it.